Hi, I'm Rhea.
And I'm Dwayne.
And we are your hosts of the Travel Party of Five podcast, where we share how we travel as a family of five around the world.
We will also share how we use points and miles to travel as affordably as possible and sometimes even completely free.
So if you're wanting to travel more with your family, but you're not sure how, we'd love for you to listen in.
So welcome to our podcast, where we hope you learn a thing or two to get you closer to your next trip. Hey guys, welcome back to Travel Party of Five podcast. Again, my name is Dwayne. I'm with my wife Rhea.
Wow, look at your audio. It's like so great. We got Dwayne a new microphone because the one he was using was a little bit old. So we got him the same one that I have. And I feel like the audio looks better.
You can hear me now?
Could you hear me now?
Anyway, so episode 7, today we are going to talk about a recent trip to NYC that we took. It's going to consist of where we stayed, where we ate, how we got around, things of that nature.
Yes, but first I have 2 really quick updates that I wanted to bring up, especially because our last episode was about lounge access and kind of a beginner's guide to lounge access. And if you haven't listened to that one, I would highly recommend going back and doing so if you are at all interested or curious about being able to use the lounges in an airport. But since we recorded that episode, one of the lounge brands that we talked about was the Chase Sapphire Reserve Lounge. And at the time of recording, there were only 2 that were currently open in the world. One was in Hong Kong and one was in Boston. Dun, 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 dun. Oh my God. And so since then, shoot, I have to find it. Hold on.
We are prepared today.
Okay, I found it. Okay, so since we talked about the 2 lounges, I'm sorry, can you look at me instead of the football game that's on TV or what?
Playoff football.
Last week when we recorded an episode, he was folding freaking clothes during the end, and I was so annoyed. Anyway, okay, lounges. So there is now another Chase Sapphire Lounge open and another one opening, I think, next week. So the Chase Sapphire Lounge at LaGuardia Airport, which is in New York City, is open. And it looks quite nice from the photos that I have seen online. It is in Terminal B if you frequent LaGuardia, if that matters to you. And then they have one in JFK that I think is opening this week or next week. So very exciting. Especially for us, because I think I'm going to be in both of those airports this year, and we together will be in LaGuardia when we fly to New York City, because we went this past year in 2023, but we are going to go again this year for another weekend getaway without the kids. And then there are Phoenix, Las Vegas, San Diego, and Philadelphia are also have Chase Sapphire Reserve lounges coming soon. And currently, it looks like there is unlimited access for the card holder plus 2 guests if you hold a Chase Sapphire Reserve. Again, not the preferred, just the reserve. Yeah, so that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited to check out the one in Phoenix for sure.
Yep. And then the other update is, this is very small, but I believe in one of our previous episodes we stated that on the same note of the Chase Sapphire cards, if you had a Chase Sapphire preferred card, you could not refer someone to the Chase Sapphire Reserve or vice versa. And as of 2024, Chase has changed that. So now they're kind of like a family. And so if you have the Chase Sapphire preferred, you can refer someone to either the preferred or the reserve, which would have came in handy, and I could have referred you and gotten extra points. So, but you know. You live
next time, next card.
Yep. Cool.
Okay, so NYC.
Let's get into it. So Dwayne and I went to New York City in August of this past year, just for 3 nights, weekend getaway without the kids. And
Which I think we're going to make a tradition because it's your birthday.
It is my birthday.
We're doing it again this year.
We are doing it again this year.
And yeah, hopefully it just becomes a yearly thing.
It's the perfect time of year to get out of Phoenix because it is always very hot in August.
So hot.
Like 110, which is just miserable after a while. And New York in the summer is very fun. So I think we're going to do a rundown of where we stayed. I mean, I think Dwayne already mentioned all that. So let's talk about how we got there, first of all.
Southwest Companion Pass.
Southwest Companion Pass.
Yep. Paid for one ticket. Flew into LaGuardia.
Yep.
Then from LaGuardia, we took public transportation. We took a bus that led us straight to our hotel. Really, it was like a block away, wasn't it? Or did we have to? We took it to the subway. I'm sorry. We took the bus to the subway.
Yes.
Which was kind of a hassle because there were stairs. I had luggages. I had bags. Elevators were pretty full. Lines were pretty long. So I was lugging these things upstairs, downstairs.
I'm sorry. I'm only laughing because it wasn't a hassle for me at all.
Well,
it's because Dwayne is very chivalrous and Dwayne will carry my bag up the stairs along with his bag. And I mean, we don't travel heavy.
No, not at all. But I mean, when it was packed like that, I mean, there were people everywhere.
And he's carrying 2 full suitcases.
Yep.
So thank you for doing that for me.
Yeah.
I appreciate it.
Yep. So I'm here.
But I mean, other than that, it was easy, right? Because
super easy.
Generally think like taking a bus is like where I max out on public transportation. Like I will take a subway, I will take a train, I will do whatever. But when you tell me I have to get on a bus, I am instantly like, ugh.
But I mean, this was super easy. The bus was right outside baggage claim. It wasn't like a normal city bus. This was a bus that, ran from the airport. So there were luggage compartments where you can put your luggage.
That's true.
Took you right to the subway where you needed to go. And then from there, I mean, the transportation system in New York is,
It's really easy.
Yeah, super easy. Takes you anywhere and everywhere.
And you don't even really need to look at the map. You can literally just put in your phone. And I think we talked about this before for Washington. You just say, this is where I'm at and this is where I want to go. And I want to take public transportation. And it will give you all your options, including buses, if you're not like me and that's your jam.
Yep.
And I'm pretty sure that did the bus take us to Penn Station? And then from Penn Station, we took the subway? I'm pretty sure that's...
Was it Penn Station?
I think
don't
so.
remember. But yeah, I mean, super
your
easy.
Your phone will tell you.
We just bought a Metro card.
Yep.
Put some money on it and used it the whole time we were there.
Yep. And so we stayed at the Beekman, which is a Hyatt. No surprise. It's a Thompson Hotel by Hyatt. It is a Category 6 hotel.
It was, somewhat fancy. It felt like we were in like a 1940s type.
It kind of felt like we traveled back in time a little bit, like maybe to the 1920s.
Yeah.
The lounge area in the hotel was very like flapper area.
Yeah. Very dark.
Area. Not area. Era.
Yeah. Very dark, but I mean, welcoming at the same time. And my dad, I was in contact with the hotel probably like a month before we got there. Since it was her birthday, I had called and set up a little amenity to be put in the room before we got there. Champagne, some chocolates, a card, to try and score some points.
It was really nice, but the funniest part is that I didn't notice it. Do you remember that?
I mean, she didn't notice it.
I didn't notice
hours.
it for like a while. It
might have even been the next day.
No, it was not the next day, but it was like we had been in the room for like an hour, I think, before I was like, oh wait, what is this? And the room is not big.
It was small.
If you've been to New York City, the rooms are just not big in general. And when we checked in, do you remember the guy said, we upgraded you to a slightly larger room?
Yes. And
but
when we got there, it was like, what?
Well, so he said, hey, we upgraded you to a slightly larger room and you're going to be on the 10th floor. He said, but a little quirk about this hotel is the elevator only goes to the 9th floor. And then you have to get off the elevator
and take a separate elevator.
Yeah, either take a different elevator or the stairs up one more floor, which, I mean, it wasn't a big deal for us. But we were laughing when we walked in the room and we were like, this is the larger room.
Really nice bathroom, though.
It was very nice.
Yeah, very, very, very nice hotel.
It was the perfect amount of space for 2 people.
Yeah, for sure.
We could have never had our kids there, though.
Never. We would have needed 3 rooms. But overall, the aesthetic of the hotel was very nice. The little atrium, is that what it's called? Atrium, when the floors all look down into the
because our view was like, it wasn't of the outside, it was of I think I would call it an atrium.
Well, I was not outside the window of the hotel, but when we got off the first elevator
and you look down.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I mean, that I think I would still call that an atrium.
Yeah, they had a fancy little restaurant down there.
We looked at the menu and we almost ate there, but we ended up not. But it did look delicious.
Yeah. We had other plans.
Yeah.
To eat a lot of different places. I mean, New York, you can literally find whatever it is you want to eat.
Whenever you want it.
Yeah.
So what did you think about the location of the hotel?
I didn't mind the location at all. It was Lower Manhattan, financial district.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was right next to a subway station. It was next to a pizza joint we went to which was really good. And it was always packed.
Delicious.
Always packed. Always a line out the door, but definitely worth the wait. I believe it was called Joe's.
It was called Joe's, yeah. I felt like it was kind of far from stuff. That was my opinion of the location.
Yeah, I mean, it was far from the stuff that... Yeah.
Like that we wanted to do for the most part, because it's like really so it's like kind of by the World Trade Center Memorial, and it's by the where you take the ferry to go to the Statue of Liberty or Staten Island.
Shaolin.
And it's like by is it the seaport, I think, and however it's very close to Brooklyn. You can get on the subway and in one stop you're in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So we actually grabbed bagels on our way out from Brooklyn because it was closer. So I think we're going to go back this year, and we have 2 different hotels booked that are more central Manhattan. They're like close to Central Park and all that.
Yeah, I'm excited for one of the hotels. It's a pretty fancy.
I'm excited for both of them because I heard one gives snacks and the other one is really nice and has very good waffles. So we'll talk about those at the end. I love a good breakfast. So, okay. So that is how we got there, and that is where we stayed. I mean, I would totally stay there again. Like, let me be clear. There's nothing wrong with the hotel. It just depends on what you're looking for. And if you were there for work or something, I think that would be a great spot.
Yeah.
The lobby would be perfect for like an after work kind of happy hour type thing. And also, I don't think I said this, but you can book the Beekman for 21,000 Hyatt points per night, give or take a few, depending on if it's on or off peak. And
which is totally worth it.
I mean, yeah, it was great. And they were very nice and helpful to us.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk. Are we going to do restaurants or activities next?
Whatever. What?
All right, let's do restaurants. So what was your favorite place that we ate when we were there?
Like I said earlier, the pizza joint that we ate was really, really good. We also went to Chelsea's Kitchen. Is that what it's called?
No. Chelsea's Kitchen is a market that's here. We went to Chelsea Market.
Oh, Chelsea Market. Okay. Yeah. We had tacos at a Mexican joint.
Yeah, it's called Los Tacos #1, and
which you found.
I found from Instagram because several different people.
And I'm not gonna lie, I was a bit skeptical at first when she said we're gonna go get tacos, being that we're from Arizona and we have pretty good tacos here. But yeah, they were very good. I would definitely recommend them.
Yeah, they were
very
delicious.
Good, very good.
Homemade tortillas, like the steak was. We got carne asada. I think the steak was very tender. The salsa was fresh. They were a little spicy for me, but not for you.
Nope.
They were excellent.
But this Chelsea market, I mean, it was basically like a food court. There was all types of food. There was actually a Japanese,
like a nice food court.
Yeah, Japanese spot right across, which I wanted to go to, but didn't. But again, I wasn't mad that we went to the taco joint.
It was delicious. I would go back there.
Yep, for sure. We'd definitely go back there.
In fact, we probably will eat there.
Yeah. And, I mean, this place was really cool. Like I said, there was plenty of places to eat. It was packed. Yeah. Oh, and it was right across the street from Starbucks Reserve. That was actually pretty big, which I heard sells wine and alcohol.
Oh, yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few of those around the country.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever been in one, but
yeah,
I know they have a really big one in Chicago.
What's funny is I know that because a coworker told me about it, because I told her we went to Chelsea's market. And she's like, oh, that's right across the street from the Starbucks that sells wine. And I was like, oh.
It's just Chelsea Market. The area is called Chelsea.
Oh,
and so
it's Chelsea's. she bought it.
Okay. And so, yes, the tacos there were excellent. Also, we got ice cream. I don't know how to fully pronounce this, so if it's wrong, I apologize to all the Dutch people out there, because I'm pretty sure this is Dutch, but it's VanLeeuwen Ice Cream. And I think all their ice cream is great, except the Earl Grey ice cream is my absolute favorite, and I get it every single time I go there. I think you got like pistachio or something, and you didn't really like it.
Yeah. I wasn't a fan.
But the Earl Grey, I mean, if you like Earl Grey and you like that flavor, it's 10 out of 10. Okay, we also, we got bagels a couple of times.
Yep. There was a spot right down the street from the hotel, which I think was...
The first bagels we had weren't that great.
No. I think it's because it was a chain.
Maybe. I don't even remember.
Because I know there were multiple locations.
But they weren't that great.
No,
we were kind of disappointed. No. And so the next day we went to Essa Bagels, which our oldest son and I went to New York at the end of 2022. And we liked our bagels that we got from there. Since going there, I also learned Liberty Bagels is apparently very popular. So maybe we should try that when we're there this time. And we talked about the pizza. So right by the Beekman is Joe's Pizza.
It's like famous.
It is. It's on the corner of Fulton and Nassau in the financial district. Yep. And I mean, they have pictures all over the walls of all the celebrities and stuff. Yep. One of them was AJ McLean from the Backstreet Boys,
who's that?
I was a big
What's that? Oh.
I was a big Backstreet Boys fan in my teenage years. And what's funny is I texted a picture of his picture on the wall to my best friend from high school, who was also a big Backstreet Boys fan. And she was like, wait, did you meet him? Like, what's happening? And I was like, oh, no, this is just a photo in a pizza place hanging on the wall. She's like, oh. So it was a little anticlimactic. But the pizza was everything you want in New York pizza, I would say. And it is right across the street from the Beekman. And there was always a line out the door.
But, I mean, it was fairly quick.
It moves quick, yeah.
Yeah. They know what they're doing there.
Yeah. As far as, sit-down restaurants, we did 2.
We did the Maison Pickle Jar. Is that what it was called?
It's called Maison Pickle.
Oh, Maison
and
Pickle.
It's on the Upper West Side.
Yeah. That was pretty good. I forget what I got there, but
their portions are
huge.
Enormous.
Yeah, we didn't finish it all.
Like 4 people could eat one entree.
Yeah.
It is so much food. And we made the mistake of also ordering they have like these honey butter rolls, and we got those, which I mean they're delicious, but you can't eat it all.
Yeah. It was huge.
We had so much food and we had no place to put it. So
we got to go boxes.
Yeah.
Funny story about this. I tried to give our leftovers away.
We were thinking like, we can't do anything with this food because we don't have a fridge in our
and we weren't going to eat it.
Yeah, or a microwave or anything. And so we were thinking like maybe we could find an unhoused person.
Someone less fortunate, yeah. Because, I mean...
who might want it.
Yeah, it's a city. They're around. So, yeah, I found a guy. I was like, hey, man, you want some food? And he kind of looked at me like...
he said no.
No. He was like, no,
I
don't want your shit. And I was like, okay.
And I think, didn't you try one more time, too?
I tried another time, and I, like, followed this guy. And then when he stopped, I was like, hey, man, you care for some leftovers? And he just kind of looked at me and
didn't even say anything.
Looked at me and was like, psh. I was like, all right, man.
Like, well, I don't know. Like, I mean, here's the thing. Maybe it is offensive. I don't really know.
Yeah, sorry if it is.
But we were just like, we didn't want it to go to waste, and it was just so much food.
And it was good food.
It was delicious. It was great. And then the other, so I mean, would definitely. That's actually the second time I've been at that restaurant, and I would for sure go back again. And then the other sit down place we went to was a restaurant called Butter, and we did this before we went to a Broadway show, which we'll talk about when we get to like all the activities we did. But we ate at Butter, and if you are a Gossip Girl fan, I'm just going to be fully transparent that a big part of why I chose that restaurant was because of Gossip Girl, which I have seen at least 5 times. However, it also happened to be close to the theater, so it just worked out. And
I mean, and it was good.
Yeah, it was great.
Yeah.
We had a reservation. We were seated promptly. Everything was great. They have this like bread. It's not free. You pay for it, but this like bread you can order, and that was delicious. It comes with like different butters. Yeah. Which I guess hence the name Butter. And
I got a steak.
No, I think you got a pork chop.
Oh, is that where I got a pork chop?
I think I got the steak.
Oh, yeah. You're right.
This was like my birthday dinner. Yeah.
It came with some kind of like apple something sauce.
I think when we were looking it up, one of the reviews was like, this is the best pork chop I've ever had in my life. And it was pretty good.
It was pretty good, yeah, because I F with pork chops.
And I got steak, and my steak was good.
Yeah.
However, the standout of the whole meal was the raspberry beignets that they have for dessert.
Was pretty good.
Like, I still think about them, and like I want to go back there just for that when we go this summer. I just want the dessert. We can get dinner somewhere else. I don't care. It was so good.
I think my highlight was the wine that I got.
Oh, really?
No, but still good wine.
So yeah, I think did we eat anywhere else? I feel like that's all I can think of.
I don't know. I don't think so. We tried to get boba one day.
We did,
but apparently it's not a thing in New York.
You would think that you would look up boba and see like 5 spots within 1,000 feet of you, but that was not the case.
That was not the case. And then we found a spot that had great reviews, thinking they had boba, and we got there and they were like,
they did not have any
we
boba.
don't have any boba. But their drinks there were still good.
Yeah, it was good.
What was it? We got a cup from there, didn't we?
We did. I don't remember the name of it.
It was good.
But I had like a lavender lemonade or something, which
that was really
hit
good.
The spot.
I had some kind of mocha, iced mocha.
Yeah.
But it was blended. It was pretty good. And then, I mean,
I think we should. We did like a lot of activities for really only having 2 full days there.
Yeah.
So I think here's the rundown. So we flew in on a Friday and flew out on a Monday, and so we really only had Friday night, and then Saturday, Sunday, and like Monday we didn't really. Our flight left later in the day, but we didn't really make plans. So
we just got the bagels from Brooklyn and then headed out.
Yeah. We did walk on the High Line. So if you're going to eat at Chelsea Market, I actually think a perfect thing to do after that is walk on the High Line. So we ate at Chelsea Market. That's where we had the tacos. We got ice cream.
Yeah. Well, let's explain what the High Line is.
Oh yeah. So the High Line is like an old raised up like railroad bed or railroad track that has been repurposed, and it is covered with different types of plants and flora and fauna.
Yeah, and people just go and walk it, ride bikes. It's like a little trail, if you will.
Yeah, and it's
in the city.
You're literally, you're kind of sometimes just walking by someone's like window too, and it's so interesting, I think, to look in and see like what is it like to be this person who lives here in New York City. And it's a little bit eclectic, some of the buildings and stuff that it goes through, and I think it's a really fun way to spend a Friday evening.
Great views of the city too.
Yes. Wow. Yep, because you're like a little bit above. Yeah. And I really enjoyed it. It's been on my list to do in New York for a long time, and it's the first time I've ever been able to actually do it. So if you're in New York in the summer, highly recommend get yourself some Earl Grey tea ice cream and go for a little stroll on the High Line. Yep. Why don't you talk about what we did in Central Park, because that was like your big bucket list thing.
Central Park, we rented some bikes.
Well, because
Citibank bikes, or is that what it was?
Yeah, but you have been to New York City, but you said, I've never been to Central Park.
Yeah.
Like, he's been to the city several times, but he's like, I've never been to the park. So we thought, like, let's get bikes and ride around. Because that's something, like, when I was there with our oldest son, that's something that we couldn't do because he's not old enough.
Yeah, so we rented some bikes and we, strolled through the park. It was a great time. It was a little warm, but we stopped, took some pictures of the city. I think she would agree with me on this, but one of our favorite things to do is people watch.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, it was great for that. There was so many people there. There's trails to walk through the park, around the park.
We rode around the entire park.
Yeah.
Yeah. But the bikes are like motorized.
Yeah. So yeah, they go pretty fast.
Yeah.
And we, after that's when we tried to look for a boba spot.
Couldn't find it.
Couldn't find it.
Ended up in Times Square kind of inadvertently.
Yeah. And it's funny, I've never been to Times Square either, which is crazy.
I don't think I knew that.
Yeah, I've never been there. And I've been to the city because my sister used to live in Staten Island, military, but years ago.
Yeah. Times Square is just like, I think it's like a one and done thing. I've been there several times, but
I wouldn't be mad if I never went again.
It's just kind of like, all right.
Yeah.
Like, it's just so touristy, and they just swarm you with like, let's take a picture with this like janky Minnie Mouse that
Mini Rat
that Disney definitely did not endorse.
Yeah, Mini Rat.
And then they want to charge you for it. It's like, no thanks.
Yeah, they don't tell you until after you take the picture too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, so we had a great time there. Another activity we did is, it was her birthday again. And she's a big, huge Friends fan, the show Friends.
Yeah.
So they had a little exhibit, the Friends Experience in New York. So that was one of her gifts. And by the way, I'm not a good gift giver. But I thought she might like that. What did you think of it?
I loved it. First of all, okay, Dwayne has improved greatly in his gift giving skills, I will say.
Well, here, let me just preface this by saying I come from a family that would rather just get cash than gifts.
Yes.
So
that is true.
Go ahead.
That is true. But like for me, I'm a good gift giver. I think.
Great gift giver.
And I put a lot of thought into it. And so I don't think it's wrong to expect, something similar in return. And I have to give Dwayne credit this year. First of all, he did get me that, the Friends exhibit or the Friends experience trip for my birthday, which was fantastic. I was so excited. It was great. I loved it. But also he ordered most of my Christmas presents well before Christmas this year for the first time ever. Normally he is December 24th, let me go see what I can find. And I hate that.
I mean, I was done probably by December 2nd.
Yeah, I was shocked and very impressed.
Yeah.
I thought it was great. But let's talk about the Friends. So the Friends experience, first of all, they have these in other cities around the country. I think there's even one here in Phoenix, but
there was one. To
do it in New York City, which is where the show, takes place, I just thought was really fun and I loved it. It was fantastic. It was just so neat to be in all these different things that look exactly like the show that I have watched on repeat for literally 20
they had
years,
also
probably.
Actual stuff from the show too.
They did, yeah. It was very cool. That was probably one of my highlights of the trip, I would say. I really, really enjoyed that. And so if you are a Friends fan and you've been thinking about it, I would 10 out of 10 recommend it. And they did timed admission, so you weren't really rushed, which I appreciated.
Yeah.
And if you wanted longer time, you could just wait for the people behind you to finish up, and then you could take more photos or whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
So
they had a gift shop where you can buy things. Pretty expensive, not gonna lie.
They were expensive. I was gonna buy something, I think, and then I was like, oh, never mind. I don't remember what it was, but yeah, it was great. And then so I've been to New York quite a few times. I mean, I grew up in New York. You know what's funny is I grew up in New York State, but I never visited New York City until after I moved to Florida.
That was because of
my stepdad.
Yeah, Bill.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not a big fan of the city. So I had never I just totally lost my train of thought. Oh, I had never seen the Statue of Liberty up close. That was something that just never, it wasn't a priority on any previous trips. Because, you got to take a boat and you got to get out there and it costs money, blah, blah, blah. And it just seemed like, that takes too long. But on this trip, we decided to take the Staten Island Ferry, which is free.
Yep.
And it goes right by the Statue of Liberty. So it doesn't take you, to the island it's on, but you go pretty close to it, closer than I've ever been. And so that's what we did. We hopped on the ferry. We, stood on the right side. You'll know the side because that's the side everyone goes to.
Yep. So yeah, if you're taking it from, where's that, Manhattan?
Yeah, it's the
Manhattan to Staten Island. You're on the right side, but
yeah, and on the way back,
obviously you're on the left side. Matter, yeah,
unless you didn't get a good view on the way over. And so, but here's the thing: when you take the ferry over, unless you want to hang out in Staten Island for an hour, you need to immediately exit the boat and run back on.
Which
it was
more than half
fast.
The boat did that. I mean, we were zigzagging in and out of people.
Yeah. And, the people that didn't get a good view on the way over are now rushing to try to get a good view on the way back. But it's completely free. And we just went for a nice little boat ride across the river. So.
Yep. That wasn't my first time on the Staten Island Ferry, though. So.
Why don't you tell them about the Broadway show that we saw, because you liked it more than I did.
Oh, yeah. So, Broadway show. This is actually the second one I've been to. The first one was Hamilton. We saw here in Arizona.
Well, I think that's like off Broadway, isn't it? Because we weren't on Broadway.
I have no idea. Yes, well, off Broadway. And then we caught, while we were in New York, we caught the Book of Mormon, which, if you haven't heard, it's done or was created by the guys that did South Park, which I'm not a South Park fan. I have some friends that are, and they're just like a diehard South Park. But I didn't know what to expect going in, so we went to this show, and I damn near peed my pants. It was so funny. And, I mean, Rhea doesn't have the same humor as me, so that's why she didn't find it as funny. But, I mean, I was cracking up. And I'm not going to lie, the first half, I couldn't breathe. The second half was okay. There was a lot of funny parts, but it just wasn't as good as the first half. But, I mean, it was your typical South Park humor. It was about a group of Mormons.
Well, don't give too much away, but yes, it is about.
Yes. I mean, just if you're in New York and you don't know what to do and you have some extra cash, the Book of Mormon, do it.
I thought it was funny. I thought the beginning opening scene with the ding dong, like I thought that was hilarious.
Like I said, could not breathe the first half.
But I do think it's more like boy humor than.
Yeah, because you said your best friend from New York also went with her husband.
Yeah. And he also thought it was hilarious.
I mean, it was so
way
funny.
funnier than she thought it was.
So funny.
So I am just convinced that it's a little more boy humor than girl humor, and
Yeah, I mean, that's what it's South Park. So, I mean.
But, I mean, it was.
And like I said, I don't watch South Park, but I was dying.
Now, the theater that it was in was a little cramped, I will say.
Oh, it was super cramped.
Like, that was, first of all, we were in the second row. And so we tried to get like we tried to do the lottery for tickets, and we didn't end up getting them. And so we paid, but we didn't buy the tickets until the day of or the night before maybe. So we were able to get very close for a little bit cheaper than it would have been had I bought those same seats like a few weeks prior. But my plan was basically to try to get the lottery, and if I couldn't, then buy the tickets. And that's what we did. And yeah, we were in the second row, which was the closest I've ever been for a Broadway show. But when I went to see the Harry Potter Broadway show last year, and the seats were quite comfortable and a little more spacious. And so this theater was a little
tickets were
smushed.
Probably more though, right?
The tickets were more, yeah. Yep. So, yep, Book of Mormon.
Highly recommend.
I mean, I wouldn't see it again, but I'm not mad that I saw it the first time. That's what I'll say. Yeah. Let's see, what else did we do?
I mean, shoot, I don't know. I mean, we're so old. We were in bed by 9 p.m. every night.
I was exhausted every night. Because, I mean, it's a lot of
we were
walking.
downtown New York 20 years ago. I would have been
clubbing it up. Nope.
No.
We were. So our plan was, the day that we checked out was to just have that be like a chill, relaxing day, and to do some room service in the hotel and kind of get a late checkout and just relax. And that's what we did. And we ordered the room service, but it was almost $100, and it was a very basic breakfast. It was like eggs, bacon, toast, and coffee or tea.
Coffee.
Yeah. And that was it. So definitely kind of pricey for basic things, but it was brought to our room, so I guess I can't really complain.
Yeah.
So I think if you are thinking of doing a quick getaway to New York City, I hope we've given you some fun tips and restaurants and things to check out.
No.
I don't think we mentioned this yet, but we took public transportation almost the entire time. There were 2 times we took a cab, and
It is New York, and cabs. The drivers are crazy.
yes,
Um,
yeah.
By
There
the time
was
we got out of the
one-
first cab, Rhea wanted to throw up. I think.
Like there was one where I was very nauseous, and I don't really get motion sickness that easily or that quickly, but it was bad, and I was like, oh my God. But the thing about cabs in New York is not only do they drive so crazy, but 20 minutes into the cab ride, you're wishing you had just taken the subway because it would have been way cheaper.
Yeah, I mean they were pretty expensive.
So I think the subway is definitely the easiest, but when you're tired and your legs hurt and you've been walking all day, sometimes you just got to grab a cab.
Yeah.
So,
And I mean, we took an Uber from the hotel to the airport on the way back.
Oh, we did.
'cause
Yep.
I
it was raining
Yeah.
and
I wasn't about to haul the luggages again up and downstairs. But
I would have been fine taking the bus.
definitely doable. But yeah, when you're ready to go,
You're ready to
Yeah.
go. Yep. And we did bring home bagels for the kids. Our kids love a good bagel. And my son, who had been to New York with me the year before, he was excited about some bagels. So we brought bagels home, and they liked that.
Oh, where did we get those bagels? That was actually another little type of food court.
Yeah, that was
in Brooklyn. It was right by the Brooklyn Bridge.
It was Essa Bagels.
Oh, that was
It
Essa Bagels?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know the name of the area.
But again, yeah, it was in a nice little food court. We actually had a hard time finding it
We did.
because the GPS led us to.
Yeah. We had to finally
Yeah.
just ask someone
Yeah.
inside, where is this? And they directed us. But it was a cute little spot. Actually, really good for photos of the Brooklyn Bridge.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I mean, the last time we were in New York years ago, we took some
walked
pictures.
across. Well, we walked across the Brooklyn Bridge.
And we took some pictures there.
Yeah. I was pregnant at that time, and it was a long walk for me because I was 7 months pregnant.
Yeah. And I was pushing a stroller.
Yeah,
With,
we had our.
He was what, 2?
He was
yeah.
he was almost 3.
Oh.
Yep. So we're gonna go back to New York this summer, and I don't know. I don't know what we're going to do as far as activities or anything like that, but we are going to stay at the Andaz on 5th and the Park Hyatt.
Yeah.
So we're still only going 3 nights. We're going to do 2 at the Andaz and 1 at the Park Hyatt.
Yeah. And if you don't know about these hotels, they're pretty fancy, especially the Park Hyatt.
Yes.
Which is a category.
I think it's a category 8, which is the highest it goes.
Yeah. I mean, a room to book regularly is in the thousands. They even have
Of
rooms that
dollars,
are $10,000 a night.
Yeah, it's where celebrities stay.
Yeah.
We're going to just stay on points for 1 night. It's a lot of points, which is why we're only going to stay 1 night. But I really want to check it out. And I've heard very good things about their waffles and their breakfast. So
we might just not leave.
I mean,
we're just going to
it's our last day. So we might just see if we can do a late checkout and
stay there.
Hang out for the day.
Yeah.
So, and I've heard the Andaz gives snacks. And that the rooms are kind of spacious for New York standards. So we'll see. We'll let you know.
Yeah, I mean, it is New York, so you can't expect too much. I mean, but
You mean size-wise?
yeah, size-wise.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. We have a friend who's a chef in New Jersey.
yeah.
That we are kind of hoping we can go see him and eat a meal at his restaurant, but it's just tricky when you don't have a car trying to figure out how you can take the train to get there. So we have to try to coordinate that because that would be great. Fun.
That would be great. The restaurant looks really good.
Yep. Anything else to add? Do you think that New York is a good spot to go on a kid-free getaway?
Oh, yes. I would rather do it kid-free than with the kids.
Well, I just think, big cities like that, I just feel like, I don't know. It depends on why you're going. Like,
I mean, yeah, of course. I mean, but if we're just going for a vacation, just getting around with 5 people is going to be tough.
Especially if you have strollers, the subway is hard.
Yep.
And it's not,
it's
impossible,
doable. Yeah. I mean, but there's a lot of stairs.
Yeah. So
a lot of people.
Yeah. Awesome.
So.
Well,
I just might add, I only saw 1 rat, which I was a little disappointed about.
Where was the rat?
It was in the subway. It was just running across the track.
Oh, yeah. Well, the last time that we went to New York, which was like 2016.
Yeah.
It was the end of 2016. We went for a wedding, actually, in New Jersey. And then we were going to do a few days in the city. And tell them about the rat you saw then.
Hilarious. Typical New York story. So we were just walking down the street. There was a dead rat in the middle of the sidewalk, but someone had put a cigarette pack right next to it. And on the cigarette pack, it had the warning that it said, "Smoking kills," which I thought was hilarious and genius at the same time. So I had to take a picture of it and posted it, and it got a lot of attention.
He still talks about it 7 years later.
I still show people
hilarious.
that picture. It's hilarious.
So
yeah, smoking kills.
No dead rats on this trip.
Yep.
Just
Only
one
saw
live one.
One rat.
Bummer.
So.
Anyways.
All right. So, I mean, yeah, hopefully this was informative and helpful for your New York trip. And we appreciate you guys for listening.
Yes.
If you're brand new, welcome.
Yes. If this is your first episode, thank you. We would obviously love a review on iTunes or Spotify or wherever you listen. If you enjoyed the show, that just helps it get found by more people. And we appreciate you so much. And we will catch you on the next one.
Yeah. And if you have questions, you can reach out to us.
Oh, yeah. Instagram.
Yep.
Travel_party of 5.
All right. We'll see you on the next one.
Bye.